So we're gonna do our thing here. We'll see if we can warm ourselves up. Start in a child's pose. And if you want, in your child's pose, you can actually separate your knees a little bit wider, like go wider than you normally do if that feels good. Or you could do it the opposite way and do it with your knees together. So just experiment with child's pose. Either way, let your seat move back and your arms slide forward and your forehead rest on the ground. Good. Take a couple cycles of breath here. Let the breath kind of slide from your crown of your head to your tailbone. Yeah, and you can always take this on your back, Supta Baddha Konasana. So I'll just show you the opposite if something's going on and this just feels better. Just a few cycles of breath to let your body arrive into the practice this morning. If you are in child's pose, anchor your hands. Yes. If you are on your back, you'll just kind of have to roll to your side and come up and meet us in a tabletop position. In tabletop position today, curl your toes into the mat. Right. Bring your hands in just a tiny bit closer so your shoulders and your wrists are lined up. Good. Now, a few cycles of cat and cow. Sink the spine down and look forward. And then hollow out your abdominal wall, firm up your outer arms as you round in. The goal is to link movement with breath. So sink the spine down, the butt kind of goes out a little, the gaze moves forward, and then you round the spine deeply, firm up your outer arms, press down, look in. One more time, sink the spine down and look forward. Exhale, round the spine deeply and look in. Come to a flat back tabletop position, just pause for a second. Now in the next little bit, just keep your eyes focused on one spot a little forward. Glide your right leg forward like a half plank, curl the toes into the mat. Just fire up the thigh and notice your pelvis staying nice and neutral, your hip points down, your outer arms firmed in. From here, float your right leg up only so it's hip height. So move slowly so you can just feel your body as it works in here this morning. Press down into the mat. Then from here, slide your left arm forward. So your right leg is reaching back. Your left arm is sliding forward alongside your ear. And just connect to your breath. So you get to these poses, and the goal is not to hold the breath. It's to fire up the breath and breathe through the pose. So as you reach your left arm a little bit more forward, fire up your right quadricep and thigh. From here, you're gonna hug your left elbow in and your right knee in. So it looks like this, and round the spine a little. Press down with your right hand. As you exhale, reach and stretch the arm and the leg in opposite directions. Try and flex your foot. Do it again. Hug the knee in, draw in. You can look in a little to the center of your mat. Exhale, nice and slow. Reach and stretch in opposite directions. One more time. Hug the knee in, draw in, tight and close. Exhale, reach and stretch in opposite directions. Good. From here, stay lifted. Bend your right leg so you create a 90-degree angle. What happens is your right leg wants to wing out. So focus on your outer right hip, your thigh, your hamstring, and your glute. Flex your right foot strongly, almost like there was like one of those squeezy medicine balls in between your calf and your thigh. Yeah, keep reaching with this arm. Now, with your left arm, do the same thing. Bend your left arm just in half. So it goes straight up, Mom, so it's parallel with you the best that you can. So you're beginning to work your upper thoracic spine. Keep your gaze forward, hold here. Draw your breath in. Inhale the breath. Fire up the glute, fire up the side of your tricep as you try and lift your tricep a little bit higher. There you go. Inhale, draw your navel in. Exhale, see if you can sustain. One more giant breath in. On the exhale, keep the right leg the way it is. Just slide your left arm forward. Just reach it back forward. Now take the left palm back to the ground. Keep your right thigh the way that it is. Turn the left leg out. With the leg bent, you're going into a side plank with your bottom knee down and your right leg bent. Right arm extends up. So the same leg bent, 90-degree angle, right arm up. Look up. You got to hug your left hip underneath you, draw your waist up, and then move your eyes a little bit. stay like this, or if you like, take your right arm, grab for your ankle, kick behind you. If this is unavailable, you just stay like this. If you need to release and just extend the leg, you do that. The kick goes behind you, your right arm is straight. Bottom left ribs turn, left palm presses firmly, outer left tricep and bicep grip under you. Now, as you let go of your right hand to your right ankle, don't straighten the right leg. Keep it the way that it was. The way you got in is the way it's gonna be. Right arm up. Keep the right leg bent to a 90-degree angle. Look down with your eyes. Come back the same way that you went in. Curl your left toes into the mat. The right leg is still bent in half at a 90-degree angle. Firm up your outer arms. From your waist, lift your right leg up and back and straighten your left leg. You're in a three-legged down dog with your right leg bent. Let your head go. Good. Just stay like this. You can soften behind your left knee as much as you need. Fire up your right thigh. Flex your right foot. Look forward with your eyes. Draw your right knee to your navel. Yeah, look forward. Scoop out your lower belly. Press into the mat. From here, land your right foot forward. Drop your back knee. Pause. Sweep your arms up. Your back leg is on an angle. Great. Make sure that your right foot and your right knee are tracking your outer right hip grips in. Drop your arms by your side body, clasp your hands behind your back. If this is unavailable to you, you just split your arms apart and you hold here. Inhale your breath, puff your chest open, slide your hands softly down the back of your left thigh. Breathe. So it's a very subtle back bend. Your hip points stay forward. You're focusing on your right heel, your outer right hip, hugging that in. And your eyes can look up a little. Keep your hands bound if possible, or just split apart like kind of Superman arms. From here, you're just gonna shift your weight back and straighten out your right leg. It looks like this. So you're high on your left knee, and if you need to pad underneath the knee, that is fine. Flex the foot. Grip your outer hips in with your hands bound or split apart, it's up to you. Fold forward 2 inches. Now, if you're more flexible, you're obviously gonna be able to get down a little lower. This is where I'm going today. I'm focusing on balance, hugging my outer hips in and not going too deep. I'd rather you do less and feel a little bit more than go so deep and kind of feel like, I can't hold on. Flex your right toes a little more. Breathe. Hug the shoulder blades on the back. There you go. See if you can lift your hand away from your lower back a little. It's gonna give you a little bit more of a back bend there. Keep the right leg the way it is. Just bring your torso up. Good. Rebend the front thigh, split the hands apart, take them directly to the floor. Step back into a tabletop position. Tabletop position. Pause. Good. Curl the left toes into the mat. Fire up the left leg. The left toes curl into the mat. The left thigh fires up. Slide the left leg back. Right arm extends forward. Left leg lifts. So you're just lifting the left leg up and the right arm in opposite direction. We have to do the same thing that we just did on the other side. Bring your eyes down to the mat. Pick a drishti point. Fire up your core. Reach and stretch in opposite directions. Good. Bend your left leg in half to a 90-degree angle. Good. Re-straighten the leg for me. Straighten it out. Draw the left knee in towards the right arm. Do the curl first. Yeah, I got ahead of myself. Good. Keep your gaze on one spot. Reach and stretch in opposite directions. Find space as you do this. Press down. Hug in. Round the spine. Reach and stretch in opposite directions. One more time. Hug in. Curl in. Reach and stretch in opposite directions. Now pause here. Bend your left leg in half. Create a 90-degree angle. Focus on your outer hip, your hugging of the glute and the hamstring, and make sure your left leg doesn't wing out. Bend your right arm up, just like we did, same thing. So the right arm wants to drop down. You want to kind of grip the outer arm in, flex the palm, firm. So feel your outer ribs even hugging in. Good. Keep your gaze down, a few breaths. Keep the lift of the lower belly. Press down a little bit more. Keep the left leg the way that it is. Just straighten your right arm back forward. Good. With your gaze on one spot, right hand comes flat down to the ground. Turn your right foot out with a bent left leg, modified side plank. So your right leg is bent and your left leg is bent. Flex the foot strongly. Firm up your bottom arm. Yeah. Lift your bottom hip. Look up with your eyes. You may choose to stay right here, or if you feel that you want to add into your back bend, reach back with your left hand. Your hand should meet your ankle naturally, and then you should be able to kick into your hand. Draw the bottom ribs and twist a little off the left shoulder. Look up. Stay with the breath. Keep the left leg exactly where it is. Don't let the shape of that leg move at all. Straighten the left arm up towards the sky. Look down with your eyes. Left hand comes to the floor. Keep the left leg in a 90-degree angle. Curl the right toes into the mat. Lift the hips up and back to a three-legged down dog with your left thigh bent in half. Let the head go. You can bend behind your right knee as much as you need, but try and fire up the sides of your arms. Plug the hands down and let your head go. Keep the left thigh fired up. Look forward. Come forward to plank. Hug the knee in towards the navel. Do this slow. Land the left foot forward and through. Drop the knee on an angle. Sweep the arms up. Modified lunge. Focus on the principles of alignment here. Keep the left heel underneath the left knee. You got it. Slide the arms right by the side body, just like a set of airplane arms. Interlace the hands, clasp them behind your back. If you're taking this, try and switch it up, so the opposite thumb, opposite baby finger. Puff the chest open, squeeze the shoulder blades, slide the hands down the back of the right thigh. I'm not at all interested in how deep you're going here. Keeping your outer hips hugging in, your waist long, your eyes can look up. Stay with the breath. Keep the hands clasped. Just pull the chest straight up and down. Move the energy and the weight back a little bit. Straighten out your left leg. So I'm straight up and down with my right leg now. I do this with my toes curled. It takes a little pressure out. My left leg is straight. My toes are flexed. My hands are still clasped. Lead with the chest and begin to hinge forward a few inches. Keep a long torso. Don't just drop down into it. The more you flex your left foot, the more stretch you're going to get through your hamstring and your IT band. If you need to drop your hands and brace yourself, you do that. Lift the clasped hands a little bit away from the lower back. That's going to give you more of a little upper shoulder blade opening. Keep the neck nice and neutral. Focus on that outer hip. Hug it in. Keep the lower half of the body the way it is. Just bring your chest up. Keep the hands clasped. Rebend the left leg. You got it. Bring the hands down to the floor. This time step to a downward facing dog. When you get to a downward facing dog, bend your right leg a little bit and then bend your left leg a little bit. And then see if you can straighten both your legs and just settle into a down dog for a few breaths. Let the head go. Let the hips, breathe them up off the shoulders. Plug down through your hands. Let your drishti just find its way. Yeah, find a focal point. Spread your toes a little wider and then ground yourself. Roll forward to a plank position, stack your body nicely so your shoulders are over your elbows are over your wrist. Remember the modification, drop your knees if you need to. Rock more weight forward on your tippy toes. Just pay attention that you're not sitting back. You don't want to be here. You want to be more weight forward. Yeah. Draw the belly in a little. Move your eyes to the front edge of your mat. So you're going to bend your elbows in half on a 3 count. For 1, 2, 3. You're going to pause. Your knees can drop if this is too much. You're going to press back up on a 3 count. For 1, feel the padded part of your hands pressing. 2, 3, plank position, hips up and back, downward facing dog. From your down dog, land your right foot forward. Yep. Activate your back leg. Rise to a crescent lunge. Just do your best with this morning. Your weight is in your right heel. Your back leg is strong. You can always drop your back knee. Fire up the sides of your body. Look up a little with your eyes. Draw your lower belly in so your ribs can lift subtly. Hands come down to frame your front foot. From here, I just want you to step to a downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, lightly land your left foot forward into a crescent lunge. Integrate your legs before you just bounce up. Come up with a lot of energy and strength. Activate your legs, press into the standing left heel, grip your outer hips in. Fill the pose with your breath, right? Instead of like negative thoughts like I want to get out, this doesn't feel good. You know, we're natural humans, so those thoughts are going to come and go. Place the hands down to the floor, step to a downward facing dog. From your down dog, roll forward to a plank position, stack your body. On a 3 count, you'll lower. I know it's annoying, bend your elbows. 1, 2, 3, pause. Straighten your arms on a 3 count. 1, 2, 3, pause. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. From your down dog, step your right foot smack in between your hands, turn your back foot on a strong angle. This would be a good time for a block or a book. Place it to the instep of your foot, grip your outer hip in, your heel to arch here with your 2 feet. Right palm down, left arm open. Good, grip your bottom hip underneath you. Pay attention to your bottom shoulder. If you notice that it's rolling in, you want to really give yourself enough of a lift so you can get out of that shoulder. The 2 arms stack nicely on top of one another. Your outer right hip grips in, your ribs have enough movement to turn towards the sky, and your eyes can go with that. Feel your feet press firmly down. Feel your legs engage. Back leg strong. Good. So with your top arm, you have a few options. You can stay with the arm reaching up towards the sky. You can take your hand behind your head. This is kind of a nice option for today. And then look up a little with your eyes as you turn your bottom ribs. If having your right hand down on the block or the floor doesn't feel great, bump it up to the top of the thigh and stay here. Relax the shoulder though. A few more breaths. Turn your bottom ribs from right to left towards the sky. Look up a little bit more with your eyes. And with that energy, lean back a tiny bit into the inner thigh. If your hand is behind your head, stretch it back straight up towards the sky. Anchor your feet and without any bounce, pull up warrior 2. Yeah, easier said than done. Straight, this is where you got to kind of work it out. Drop the tailbone, energetically reach across your body. Close your eyes and breathe a few breaths. Let your tailbone just naturally drop. Try to avoid tucking anything. We spend our whole lives trying to tuck everything in, right? Focus on your feet, focus on your inner right thigh. Make sure it's not wrapping in. Wrap it out. A few more, stay with it. Straighten your right leg. Bring your hands to your hips. Pivot your right foot in. Your feet are pretty wide apart. Yes, underneath your hips. Interlace your hands behind your back. Inhale your breath. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Fold down the center, lift your hips up. If having the hands clasped kind of takes you out of the practice, just bring them straight down to the ground and take this a little bit more chill. And this type of forward fold, make sure that your feet, your weight is forward so your hips can naturally lift up off of you. If you want to work deeper into the shoulders, drop the hands down a little bit more towards the ground, towards the base of the skull. Let your torso fold a little deeper. Use the outer blades of your feet to press down. Anchor your feet, come up halfway, come up the rest of the way. Keep the legs the way they are. Open up your arms like you're setting up for a warrior 2 again. Straighten them out. Turn your right foot out, straight forward to the front edge of the mat. Pivot your right hand to your right shin for a triangle pose. Slide the left arm up. Great place to use a block. You can place it up high to the outside of the calf. Good. I like the hand on the shin. I want to feel like I'm moving the pants up my leg. This is not a back bend. It's a gentle twist. Your bottom ribs turn, your gaze goes up, and your feet anchor. If you can see here, my right leg has a little bend behind it. That's okay, that's good. Yeah, back leg is strong though. Feel your feet. Stay lifted through your torso. Look down with your eyes. You're gonna go into an easy twist. So circle the hands to the ground, left heel peels, right foot walks to the right, left hand tense, and right arm peels open. Stack the two shoulders. Integrate the right hip so the hip doesn't wing out. Fire up the back leg. Yeah, you can always slide a block underneath your left hand as well. Look up with your eyes. The twist is happening from your upper ribs. If you can, left palm will now go flat to the ground. You may need to move the block out of the way. Roll into a Vashisthasana side plank. If you'd like to modify today, your right leg can be bent to a 90-degree angle. It'll be easier to see when I turn the other way. If not, stack the 2 feet. Drive the right arm up, lift from your bottom hip. Top hip has a tendency to want to open, so see if you can stack it over your bottom hip. Slide the 2 arms up, look up. Stay with your breath, guys. Grip the bottom arm underneath you. Lift up a little higher with that bottom hip. And just stay with it. Look down with your eyes. Find a plank. Pause. Good. You're gonna love me. Slow count. 1, bend your elbows slow. 2, 3, pause. Yeah, draw your belly in, straighten your arms slow for 1, 2, 3, plank position, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Land your left foot forward in between your hands. Turn your back foot on a strong angle. Find a block and set up for B variation from the ground up. Slide the right arm up. Hug your left hip underneath you. Good. So remember, you need your back foot on a strong angle, otherwise that thigh won't turn and it'd be really hard to find the posture. So once again, your right arm can just be straight up and down, or your hand can go behind your head. The hand behind the head is a pretty strong upper thoracic opening. So you got to take your bottom ribs, turn them, and then look up a little with your eyes and envision your palm pressing into your head and your head pressing into the palms. You're making a connection. So remember, you could always drop your arm on the thigh. So this is a good option too. Just get real light with your bottom arm. Feel your feet, stay with it. Last couple breaths, don't give up on yourself here. Grip that bottom hip underneath you. Turn the ribs up from left to right. Stay grounded with your feet. If your hand's behind your head, just slide from your elbow to your fingertips straight up. Feel the feet grounded on the floor without any bounce, or at least with not too much. Pull up warrior 2. Settle into your warrior 2, however that looks for you today. Broaden across your upper body, straight up and down with your waist, inner thigh rolling open. And then just close your eyes for a few breaths if you can. Lengthen your tailbone. From tailbone to the crown of the head, allow yourself to just drop down into the pose. Nice, Kristen, looks really good. Breathe a little bit more energy across your torso. See if you can find that space. Don't let the arms drop here. Straighten the left leg. Pivot the toes in. Yes. Interlace your hands opposite grip. Inhale your breath, lift the torso, straight down the center, fold. So if it's very easy for you to come down this way and your head gets very close to the floor, shorten your stance, guys. Bring your feet in closer. We're looking to take the round out of our upper back if at all possible. If you're looking for more with your shoulders, drop your clasped hands closer down towards the ground and fold deeper. Keep a little bend behind your knees. Move the weight into the balls of your feet. Feel the arches, feel the outer blades of your feet. Hug the legs tight. Come up halfway, pause. Come up the rest of the way. Good. Open up your arms again. Pivot the foot back out. So the left foot turns out. Yes. Set yourself up for triangle pose here. Slide your hand to your shin. Use a block. Right arm up. Yeah. Make the pose feel like effective and efficient, and sometimes doing a little less. Like, give yourself permission to do a little less. Let the side of your body lift. Ground the arches from the arches all the way up the inner thighs, and vice versa, down the outer leg to the blade of the foot. Two more. Look to the floor, circle the hands down, find an easy twist. Yes, easy twist pose, guys. Back leg is strong, right hand down, left arm open. You can always do this with the back knee down. Grip your outer hip underneath you, stack the shoe shoulders, draw the belly in, and twist from above the belly button. So when we change up the flow, sometimes you notice like your mind starts to wander a little, like what's gonna happen next? It's good to do that. It's good to let our bodies do things in different ways. Look down with your eyes, lean onto your right hand. Vashisthasana side plank. If you want that modification, take a quick look at the screen. Your right foot flexes, your left leg bends. This is a great way to modify. My top leg is in a 90-degree angle. It's not a modification, it's just a different way. Lift from the bottom hip, or you can slide the 2 feet on top of one another for regular side plank. Lift from the bottom hip, firm up from the ground up. You got it, Patty. Looks good. Breathe right here. Look down with your eyes, very slow plank position. Make sure your feet are about hips width distance apart. On a count of 3, you're gonna lower for 1, 2, 3, pausing your chaturanga. Draw your belly in. Now for your first up dog, pull your heart and your chest through, activate your legs. Feels so much better because we waited. Downward facing dog, hips press back. From your downward facing dog, land your right foot forward for warrior 1. If you're opting out of warrior 1 today and taking crescent, that is fine by me. Sweep your arms out and up. Steer your right hip back and your left thigh and waist forward. Let your right thigh drop into the pose. Anchor your feet and spread your arms up. Look up a little bit. Hands come down. You can step right to a downward facing dog today. You can move through a vinyasa. You're welcome to take 50 push-ups in between if you feel like you need that. Right, make this practice work. When you get to your next down dog, land your left foot forward, turn your back foot on a strong angle, and find your way into warrior 1. Steer your right hip forward, your right ribs forward. Take your left hip back gently, and then reach up with your arms. Hands come down through your vinyasa for today. You can take the slow count vinyasa, you can go right to a dog, you can take cobra, you can do 10 push-ups. Downward facing dog. When you get to your down dog, exhale all your breath out. Look to the top of the mat. 2 big steps this morning, or a light float if you feel like jumping. A long spine when you get here. Exhale, fold over your legs. Root to rise, come all the way up. Hands to prayer at heart. Stand for a moment, contract the thighs, let your arms just stretch open, palms forward. Exhale all the breath out. Slide the arms straight up, look up a little with your eyes, sit into a chair pose. Weight moves into your heels. Less resistance in your chair, more feeling, allowing your body just to go where it naturally needs to go. Right, let your seat move back, your weight in your heels, your shins move back. Dive over bent knees, forward fold. Come to the fingertips, long spine. You can float to a chaturanga, you can step, you can move through a downward facing dog today. When you get to your downward facing dog, Land your right foot forward. Some version of warrior one or crescent lunge. Come on up. Hands come down. Your vinyasa. From down dog, the left foot lands, the back foot strong. Warrior one. Not too fast, not too slow, just right for you. Hands down to a vinyasa or not. When you take your up dog, anchor your feet into the mat, guys. Yeah, they're strong, the legs are strong. Hips up and back, downward facing dog, be still. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Look where you wanna land, step or float your feet to the top. Long spine on the inhale breath, weight stays forward. Exhale, fold. Sit again into a chair pose, weight moves into your heels. Good, press to a standing position, bring your hands to prayer. Drop your arms, just two more. Slide the arms up. Sit again into a chair, weight moves back. Dive over bent knees, forward fold. Come to the fingertips, long spine, step, step, or float through vinyasa. Up dog is a new breath. Hips up and back, downward facing. Right foot forward, back foot on an angle, warrior one. We're moving and grooving. Hands to the floor, vinyasa or not. Looks good. Left foot forward, back foot on a strong angle, warrior one. Hands come down. You're welcome to step back to a down dog. Good. Meet me in downward facing dog. Take a big breath in. Take a loud breath out. Press through your hands. Look where you want to go. Step or float, feet to the top. Long spine right here. Forward fold. Sit again into a chair. Ideally, we want our arms straight, but that's in a perfect world. So if they need to be a little bit more open, then do that. Press to a standing position, hands to prayer. Last one, I promise. Slide the arms up. Now sit, drop your seat nice and low. Dive in half over bent knees. Long spine on the inhale. You can step, step, or float through your vinyasa. From your downward facing dog, land your right foot forward, back leg strong, warrior one. Hands come down through your vinyasa, or right back to dog. Left foot forward, back foot strong, warrior one. Hands come down, plank, you could just hold plank. You can take the slow push-ups. Up dog, press to the tops of the feet. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, land your right foot smack in between your hands and pause. So your right foot is smack in between your hands. Yes, your back leg is strong. So from here, you're gonna turn your left foot on a strong angle. And from the ground up, we're gonna move into triangle. So your right leg's gonna straighten and your right hand is gonna pull up on the front of your right shin. This is not a long pose, which means nothing in my world, right? Yes, you know I like to hold the poses. So here you are, and what I want you to focus on today is the strength of your legs and the strength of your core. So two options, left arm can stay up strong. Just start to float your bottom hand a little bit up off the front shin. So you know you're using more your legs and your core strength. If you'd like to add a little back bend here, reach your arms back and clasp your hands, interlace them. Turn your bottom ribs and look over your left shoulder. 2 more breaths. Front leg has a little soft bend behind it. If this is not for you, regular triangle pose. Good, so from here, right hand comes back down, left arm up, look down with your eyes and float to your half moon. Play with how high you need your block to be, right? How high you need your block to be. Maybe you need to go to the wall today. That's okay too. Lift from your inner thigh, slide the left arm up, look up with your eyes. Remember, right foot is forward, right hip grips in. Yeah, and that's where the pose roots from. If you'd like to work Chopasana today, I'm cool with that. Bend your left leg in half. Create a 90-degree angle. Slide the left arm back so you can grab your ankle. Kick behind you. Bottom ribs turn. Look off your left shoulder. You definitely need to take a little micro bend in your front standing leg so you don't hyperextend here. Really nice. And then focus on your bottom hand. Maybe it's perfect the way that it is. Maybe you need to get a little lighter and come to 3 fingers or 2 fingers. If you bound your foot, extend the leg and extend the arm. Look down with your eyes. Left hand comes to the floor, square your hips, slide your feet together. Bring your hands on your hips and just stand yourself up. Just stand for a second. Hug your right knee in towards your navel, just like this. So bend your right leg in half, flex your foot. Start with your left hand on your hip and your right hand on the front of your knee. This is a really good place to ground yourself and give yourself the opportunity to just stay here if this is speaking to you today. If you'd like to move on, your big toe should grab, you should be able to grab your big toe without really bending down. Slide the right leg forward and then the left arm will move up. So give yourself options here. Standing leg is strong. Thigh bone draws back. Look forward with your eyes and remind yourself you're not kicking from your lower back. This is just what your hamstring is giving you today. Draw your lower belly in, lift your ribs. Press more through the standing foot. If the right leg is forward, see if you can keep it there. Both arms up. Good. Everybody bend your right leg. Yeah, drop your arms by your side body, clasp your hands. This is kind of our theme today. With your hands clasped, float your right leg back to a warrior 3 with your right leg bent. Don't straighten the leg out. Yes, right leg bent. Right thigh, practice turning it down. If having the hands clasped like this is taking you out, just drop your hands to the floor to 1 or 2 blocks. Lift from the inner thigh. There you go. Lift the upper shoulder blades up off the back. Scissor the inner thighs, grip your right glute. Hug it in a little more. Keep the hands clasped, keep the right leg the way it is. Come back up the way you went in. Flex your foot strongly, press down for the standing leg. Keep the right leg bent in half, slide the arms up towards the sky. Lower your right foot down to meet your left, sit into a chair. Drag your hands to prayer, inhale the breath, hook the elbow, turn to the right. If your back is sensitive here, focus on the support of your lower body. Your legs are there to protect your lower back. So don't twist through your lower back. Move the energy into your heels, slide the shins back, and think about the waist staying very long. Crown of the head moving forward. Maybe open up your arms if you want a little more. Breathe. Watch the left knee. It likes to do a little party on you. Squeeze the legs tight. Keep the legs together if you can. Weight on your heels. Pull around to a chair. Look forward with your eyes. Dive over bent knees, forward fold. Come to the fingertips, long spine. You can step, you can float through a vinyasa. It's up to you. Just move yourself here in some way. Up dog should feel good if you're taking it. Downward facing dog back. From your downward facing dog, land your left foot, smack in between your hands, walk it to the center of your hands. So you're just in this low, tight lunge. Good. Turn your right foot on a strong angle and from the ground up, find your way into triangle pose. When you get to your triangle, you kind of have to assess from side to side. Sometimes a wider splay feels good. Sometimes you need to tighten it up. Bring your feet a little closer if you need to. Feel your inner and outer thighs, feel your feet strong. And then play with the triangle today. So it's like we get to these poses and it's not that we get lazy, we just get kind of complacent in them. So maybe get a little lighter in your bottom hand. Maybe you just want to float your hand. Maybe you want to reach back, clasp your hands, and take a little bind. You have to back out of the pose a little to find this. Take your bottom rims and turn them. Bend a little into your standing leg. Look off your right shoulder. So knowing that we're going to half moon, right? Because we did this on the right side. If you would like to try to move in half moon like this, you can. So just give it a whirl, and it may be a major bust. So you just kind of have to float your leg, and then you have to keep moving your torso, press into the standing leg. Your hands will stay clasped. It may not be so seamless. If you would like to work into a regular half moon, left hand will come down to the ground to a block, and right arm will just peel open. Focus on the standing left leg. Grip your outer hip in. Breathe lightness into your body. If you'd like to add the Chopasana today, bend your right leg in half. Reach back with the right hand. It should happen pretty seamlessly. The kick goes behind you. The bottom ribs turn. Look over your right shoulder. Stay with it. If you fall, it's a good sign. Regular half moon, just release the leg and the arm. Look down with your eyes, square your hips, land your feet together, bring your hands to your hips and come up to a standing position. And just stand tall at the top of your mat. Just get yourself together. Good, standing on your right leg now, just bend your left leg in half. This is a fine place to be. Grab below the kneecap, support here, maybe right hand to hip or the arm can slide up. Focus on your balance and your concentration. If you'd like to move on, middle and index finger will hook the big toe and the leg will hinge forward. Remember, you're not kicking from your low back. Draw the left shoulder blade back, slide the right arm up, lengthen the tailbone. And when it starts to get tough, focus on just the breath and your drishti. Contract the right thigh and hip back a little more and soften your left hip. Keep the lift of the left leg, or you can just bend it in half. Right arm up, left arm up. Both arms up. Rebend the left leg to a 90-degree angle. Everybody do that. Drop your arms, clasp the hands one more time behind your back. Float the leg back to a warrior three, but don't straighten out the leg today. Yes, keep the leg bent in half and really just work on the standing right leg, the hands staying clasped, and kind of steering your hips down and your chest up a little. Press into the floor a little bit more. You can always use blocks. So the way we got in is the way we're gonna get out. Right leg strong, left leg stays, hands clasped, start to come up to stand. Hug the left knee in with the hands clasped. Keep the left leg strong in a 90-degree angle, just sweep your arms up. Lift from the ribs, draw the belly in. With the arms strong, reach a little higher. Lower the left foot down. Now sit, one more time, strong chair. We gotta love these chairs. Bring our hands to prayer, inhale that breath, and let's twist to the left. Stick with it, guys, you're almost done. We got a whole day ahead of us. Looks like the weather's maybe trying to steer a little better here. Weight in your heels. This is one of those poses that you can train yourself to be very efficient in. Yeah, so you don't have to go 150%. You can go 50% and just work on your alignment and your breath. Watch the right knee though and the right hip that doesn't move past you. Open up your arms to the last little bit if you want to. Soften the shoulders, looks great, guys. Weight stays in your heel, stay grounded, keep it together, chair pose, look forward. Keep your arms really elevated, lower all the way down into an amended boat with your arms up. So your feet are gonna stay down actually, and your arms are gonna stay elevated. Yeah. Press the feet down. Great. Lift from your waist. Then from here, float the legs up to a 90-degree angle. Flex the toes. Draw the waist up. Yeah. So the goal is to take the round out of our backs. Yes. Draw the thighs closer to you. Spark up your toes. Stay right here. With your right leg bent like this, straighten out your left leg. Yep. Rebend the right leg. Uh-oh. Straighten out your right leg. It's more challenging than we think. Yeah, rebend the right leg, 90-degree angle. One more time, let's give it a whirl. Maybe your hands need to come down for support. Right leg forward, it's kind of like you're running. Right knee in, left leg forward. Left knee in, good. Reach your arms forward. Cross your ankles, step or float. Sometimes it's a flop, Chaturanga Dandasana. It's only yoga, we're not like operating on people, so it's a good thing. Roll forward to plank, guys. Bend your elbows in half, Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Land your right foot forward, crescent lunge. We can't take ourselves too seriously. Right. Arms reach up. Hands to prayer at heart center. Inhale the breath. Lean out, hook the elbow, and turn. Yeah. Activate your back leg. Good. More weight forward. Looks really good, Kristen. So think about leaning back a little bit, and the crown of the head lines up with your left heel. Squeeze the inner and outer thighs together. I'm going to show another option if you're not into this. The hand can always come down for just an easy twist if you're not feeling the regular crescent twist today. This is a great alternative. If something funky is going on with your shoulder, you can always reach back with the right hand too and just look to the side. Let's stay for 3 more breaths. Okay, look down, place both hands to the floor and pause. Hopefully you guys have blocks. We worked the whole practice to get here. You probably know where we're going. So we're gonna work into revolved Ardha Chandrasana. So you can think of this as a warrior 3, or you can just go right for it. Left hand moves out in front of you, back leg will lift up, right hand will come to the flat part of the back. So I'll show you an alternative. If you're not into this today, warrior 3 with blocks. This is great. If you're gonna give this a whirl with us, soften behind your right knee a little bit, lift from your inner thigh. Bend your left leg in half. Take a 90-degree angle, flex the foot strong. Good, this may be as far as you go today. Everyone's bodies are different. Right arm will reach back, you'll try and grab your foot from the ankle, kick up and back. The idea is to neutralize your pelvis, fire up the thigh. Bend a little softness into your standing right leg. Good, and steer your chest down. Yeah. Give it a little bit more energy. Good, and like we did early in the practice, you're gonna release at the same time, arm and leg in opposite direction. Good, take a giant step back the way you got in, both hands back down to the ground. Drop the knee, yeah. Stand up tall, like we did early, but slide your weight back and draw your right foot a little closer to you. So rather than being on an angle, you're straight up and down. Interlace your hands behind your back. Inhale your breath, lift the chest, and pause here. It's kind of like an amended camel pose. To go deeper into the pose is definitely not for everybody. You'll work on bringing your left heel up towards your butt cheek. Maybe those clasped hands will reach around and you can bind. Pull the shoulders down the back. Drive the right heel into the mat. Hug your right hip in. If you have your foot in towards your butt or your hands around your ankle, let that go. Pull your torso up, bring both hands down to the ground. All you need to do here is step back, downward facing dog. Stay with it, left foot forward, crescent lunge. Bring it up. Aren't we having fun? Hands to prayer. Inhale the breath. twist to the left. Good, so find something that works here that you know you can sustain. So many times people get caught up in like, I need to go deeper and bigger and make the pose more interesting. It doesn't really matter. Just find its basic points and hold it. Open up your arms if you want more. It's up to you. Lean back a little bit. Stay with it. Press through your left heel and grip your left hip in. Yeah. Activate your right side more. You're still in the pose. We'll try and make the transition a little bit smoother because you know where you're going. Look down with your eyes, bring your right hand out in front of you and then your left hand to the flat part of your back, and then let your right leg float up. Soften a little behind your left knee. Opt for warrior 3 with blocks. Bend your right leg in half. Work your right hip and thigh a lot in your hamstring. Moving on, reach back with your left hand, grab your ankle, kick up and back. This side is harder for me. There's one side that's always a little easier. There's two sides that sometimes aren't easy, and you still try it. Steer your chest down, fire up the thigh, and kick back. This is where you could be for some of us. Patty, try this. I can't see your whole body, but this is a good place to be because it's just working your glutes. One more big breath in. To get out of the pose, you're going to release your arm and your leg in opposite directions. There you go. Perfect. Giant step back the way you got in. Both hands come down, drop your knee. Scoot your right knee in before you come up. Rise to a supported lunge. So you're up and down with your knee. It's a tighter stance. Drop your arms by your side body. At this point, who could remember what grip they took last? Just find something that feels less familiar. Inhale the breath, lift the chest. Exhale, start to lean back. Look back a little with your eyes. This may be the pose. This is great. If you want to work a little deeper, focus on your right foot now. Grip your right hip underneath you and see if you can lift your right foot up off the floor. Hug your heel towards your butt cheek. If you can get hold of your ankle, that's great. If not, don't worry about it. When I get hold of my ankle, rather than pointing my toe, I actually flex it. Yes, and then I let my foot kind of fall into my hand, and that creates the back bend. Nice. If you have your foot, your ankle, everything hugging in, just let it go. Take both hands down to the ground, step back, downward facing dog. When you get to your down dog, roll forward to a plank position, bend your elbows in half, chaturanga, pull yourself to an up dog, point your toes. Take a downward facing dog, hips press back. Roll forward to plank, lower all the way down onto your belly. When you get down to the floor, we're just about done, guys. Slide your left arm forward, bend your right leg in half, reach back with your right hand around your ankle. Same action here. The kick of the right foot into the right hand, the thigh lifts up a little bit up off the ground, left arm and left leg in opposite directions. Give it a whirl. It's a half floor bow. Keep your neck long and your gaze to the front edge of your mat. Release, just release the right leg and slide the right arm forward. Reach back with the left hand, grab the ankle, kick and reach in opposite directions. Take one more big breath in. Release the arms, release the legs. Take the hands directly underneath you. Just push yourself up to an up dog for me. Fire up your legs strong. Let the shoulders draw down the back, fire up your arms and squeeze the outer ankles in. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Look where you want to go. Step or float your feet to the top. Sit all the way down. Gotcha. Lay down on your backs. Yeah. Set up for bridge wheel pose. Supported bridge feels great for a lot of us. Yep. Glad to see that the fire is working, Kristen. Just got a little sweat going. Yeah. I got to get mine going here. So when you lay down, set up for what you know works. Bridge pose can be supported. We're going to take two, okay? One set bridge, maybe one set wheel or two wheels, up to you. Lift the tailbone, slide the block underneath your lower back and set yourself up. Lift up. Good, turn the thighs down and under a little. Exhale the breath, lower down. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. So wherever you're going next is right where you need to be. Repeat what you did or moving on for a nice full bold wheel pose. Flip your palms, bring your chin to your chest. Grip your outer hips in, straighten out those feet. And on the exhale breath, come on up. Nice work. Like it's okay to feel tired in the pose, but you feel ready. Good, lift a little higher. And when you're ready, try and come out on the exhale breath. Tuck your chin and lower with control. Once you come down, let it settle. You can squeeze your knees in towards your chest, give them a giant hug in. Yeah. And right here on your backs, you're gonna take a backwards butterfly. So it looks like this. So the right thigh wraps around the left, kind of like you're sitting under a table and you're crossing your legs. Your left hand's gonna go to your right ankle. Your right hand's gonna go to your left ankle. You're then going to flatten your back the best that you can and pull your feet apart towards you in opposite directions. Stay with it. Let your shoulder blades melt down into the ground. Lengthen your tailbone. Release, and let's take it the other way. Left thigh or whatever leg you didn't do yet over the other thigh. Hand to opposite ankle. Pull the feet apart in opposite directions. This is targeting your outer hips. Lengthen your tailbone. Close your eyes. Ideally, your arms are straight, guys. Take one more big breath. Good. Release and hug your knees in tightly. Wrap your arms around the front of your shins. Draw your eyeballs into your kneecaps. Flex your feet. Keep your knees tight in towards you. Reach your arms straight forward, just like this, like a cannonball. Draw in nice and tight, flex your feet. You're gonna release out into Ardha Navasana, 3 breaths. Ardha Navasana, hugging the floor. Arms can reach back for the most intense. Legs can lift up if you need to take some out of your low back. Most intense is hovering the mat, holding here for 3. Draw the belly in, lower back down, 2. And 1, release. Shavasana, complete rest, complete rest. If you have 2 blocks this morning, set yourself up with the blocks underneath your thighs and your legs wide apart, just like this. Let your inner thighs drop open. Take your palms open. Exhale your breath and relax. Close your eyes. Good. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Take a loud breath out through your mouth. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Start to come back. And in your own way, in your own time, just come up to a seated position. Like, you know the drill here. And when you sit up, keep your eyes closed. I always tell my kids this, you need to be able to sit with yourself. So just sit with yourself right now. It is so important. You carved out this time. Let your hands come to a prayer. Bow your head. Have some gratitude for you and our health. Lift our heads, open our eyes with much gratitude. Namaste. That was a lot of fun. Thanks for working hard with me. Sunday, 10 a.m. this week. I'm working off my kids' sports schedules. So I hope to see you then.